Welcome to Climbing Technique Tuesdays. My goal is to help you learn new techniques, reinforce ones you may already know, get tips from pros, and go beyond the technique into the finer details. Learn, practice, send. My name is Albert Oak, and this is Technique Tuesdays. The flag, the symbol for a nation, what we wave when we take a nasty fall or get smashed by a giant crash pad. But it could also just be an incredible move that we use while climbing to balance ourselves when we don't have 4 points of contact. When we are climbing, being in a position of 4 points of contact is the most stable position we can be in. However, what happens when we only have 3 points of contact or even 2? It means that a limb must be off the wall and our balance is unhinged, which is a perfect segue into barn dooring. Watch what happens when I take my right hand and my right foot off the wall. My right side of the body opens up away from the wall just like an opening barn door. The same applies to the left side. Barn dooring is a typical beginner mistake and often a difficult position for any climber to be in control of. Understanding how to manipulate our body to control barn doors will lead us to more success and more sends. One of the easiest ways to stop barn dooring is by flagging. Try this off of the wall. Stand on one leg, then lean to that side. Keep going and try to keep your balance. Notice how my right arm wants to reach up and my right leg keeps balance to the side? This is essentially the same position that you want to use on the climbing wall when you only have 2 points of contact. My right leg sticks out to the side and my left arm is now free to do whatever it wants and vice versa. This is commonly known as a side flag because the leg extends out to your side and allows us to have stability in this position. Now, there will be situations where you only have a right hand and a right foot. What do we do then? Well, we've already seen what happens when we do this, we barn door. Let's get off the wall again and see what happens. Stand on one leg and lean to the opposite side of your leg. You'll notice that you end up doing a curtsy motion to keep balance. This is known as a back flag. The back flag works similarly to a regular side flag, but since we are limited with which limbs are on the wall, we need to manipulate our body to reach the same position as a side flag by putting our leg far behind us. Now, the best way to understand back flags and side flags better is simply by practicing them on the wall. Go to an easy climb, and for every hand you want to move upwards, take the opposite leg off the wall and make the move. For back flags, you can find jugs and a high foot and establish in the position with the back flag, testing the position to see what helps you create balance. Perhaps the easiest way to incorporate naturally learning how to flag and back flag is by climbing and practicing climbing with one foot. I have prescribed this exercise before, but it really is true. Climbing with one foot forces you to climb in positions that naturally force you to learn movements that will make you a more successful climber. So to recap, side flags and back flags stabilize our position when we don't have 4 points of contact on the wall. A side flag is done by having an arm off of the wall and the opposite leg off the wall at the same time. A back flag is done by having the same arm and leg off the wall, but the leg is placed behind you to create balance. Flagging can be practiced best by climbing with one foot and understanding and feeling the positions of balance when we have not 4 points of contact on the wall. Now, side flags and back flags are only 2 out of the 3 types of flags that exist. There is a flag known as the inside flag, but that's a bit more advanced and we'll save that for a different video. Now, side flags and back flags might remind you kind of what a cat does with their tail to balance them out while moving. And this is sort of a more advanced technique that I think it's best to let my friend, multiple national semifinalist, multiple V13 and up climber, Ray Hansen, aka Ray Hansen, teach me and demonstrate better. When I say Ray Hansen is strong, I mean it.
Yeah, Ray, come on. Wow.
Ray started out by flashing this green V7, and I asked him about how I could use my flags more efficiently since I've always felt lazy when using flags.
Huh. Oh, dude, that flag though. That's what I'm saying. You're just better at flagging. You just. Okay, watch the way I climb it. I don't know how to explain it. When I flag, it's like not flagging. You'll see what I mean. It's like floppy.
I think he's more talking about the way my leg moves in dead space.
Ray then explained to me how he sets up flags to move his hips in a good position for the next moves, using a nice online chess analogy.
I don't know how to explain it. I'm like, my flags are like in the wind.
Yeah, I feel like it's more about like what I do. You kind of put it in a good way the other day when you said like my leg's like a tail.
Yeah.
Like it's just my way of like forcing my hips into a position, and I feel like a lot of the time I do it like I kind of think of it two ways. Like I'm either doing it to set up for the next move, or I'm doing it to make the current position I'm in comfortable. So it's like either now or later.
Okay.
And like when I'm doing now, it's like just like trying to understand like which direction the holds are facing, and like putting my hips opposite them. It's like climbing 101. But like when it's later, it's like kind of like when you're doing like momentum movements, like understanding the finish position. I'm like, you play chess, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
of course.
I'm like
yeah,
pre-moving the finish position. I'm like trying to put my hips somewhere so that like when I grab the next hold, I don't move.
Oh.
I'm like, instead of like having my hips in a good position now and like grabbing this hold and then my hips coming out, it's like putting my hips over here early so that when I move, I like my hips go nowhere.
That makes so much sense because
I do that all with my leg, but it's like it's more
it forces
connected
your
to my hips, right?
Okay, so like I'm a stereotypically lazy climber. I like being comfortable in the moment. Like yeah. I want to be comfortable now.
Yeah, I like to climb like with setup in mind always.
I literally have actually never even thought about this. Like the only time I think about setup is in speed.
Right, but it's the same concept, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to be thinking ahead, because if you're like, once you've stuck a move, like you've done that bit. So like if you can get set up for the next one right away, and it starts to happen intuitively eventually.
And you start like anticipating climbing. Okay, so I've realized that the way you approach flag is like compound moves. You add multiple things and like I think about a two binary. It's just like flag or not flag.
Yeah. I think one thing people don't always do is we think about the climbing wall as like a 2D surface. And it's like, especially on steep climbing, it's like very much like a 3D space.
XYZ axis.
Yeah, so it's like you have like all this space to like move out and in and like allow your hips to like move before you do movements. So it's like kind of like what we said earlier, like going like pre-moving the move. Like you can like put your hips somewhere so that like they're in the space that they need to be when you finish the next move, so that you can like
gotta pre-move, sack the rook.
Yeah, sack the rook.
Sack the rook.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Because this is very rock climbing.
Yeah. This is my jam.
This is not my jam. I mean, I jam my feet and fingers on the wall or something, but. This is like the most Ray Hansen flag masterclass climb I've ever seen.
Yeah, I like climbing with 1 foot most of the time.
Dude, and Roman Chronic would be disappointed at me. He would just flame me. He'd be like,
yeah,
more 1 foot climb. I'm like, dude,
yeah,
I'm not built different. I'm built similar.
When I first started getting stronger was when I like broke my ankle. I was in a cast for like 5-6 months.
Is that the actual secret? To just break?
Yeah, well, I was pretty weak at the time. I was like kind of okay at like flat wall slab climbing, but I was like technically sound for the most part, but I wasn't very strong. So for 6 months, all I could do was like moonboard and like pull-ups in campus. But I also learned how to like my one leg was hanging and it was like a weight I had a cast on, so it was like constantly flowing. So I feel like that actually like
probably made you better.
Dictated some of my style. It definitely made me stronger, and then like I think I definitely learned some useful techniques in the process.
Okay, challenge climb. I've only tried this, I guess, like 2 or 3 times, but the 2 times I was like, dude, this is nails for me.
This is the type of boulder if I see in a comp, I'm like, nice.
You're flashing.
Nice, Albert, come on. Good, dude. Oh, yeah. It's like find the space, get as high as you can, get the hips high as you can, and then like straight up and then get the right foot on like
How do you prevent, like, so I felt like I was rushing. I wanted to get here quickly, but I wasn't pre-moving.
Yeah.
What should I be thinking of to set myself better? Like I pre-moved, but I sacked the rook without calculating.
So for me, it's like getting as high as I can beforehand until this hand feels bad. And then I do this like almost mini kick with my right foot, my like off foot, to get like a little bit of height, get my hip close so that I can grab this hold with my hips close.
Okay.
And then I can like adjust.
Because definitely my booty was like twerking.
Yeah. It's almost this like little, it's kind of like a mini coordination move. It's like you like get your hips out to go back in. I like got as high as I could, leaned out just a little, and then fasted in, up and in with your hips. And that like trail leg just does what it needs to do.
Okay, visualize.
Yeah.
Okay. If I stick this one move,
you get to the point where you're like still semi-comfortable. You get to a position where you're like, this hand is starting to feel bad. And then you can like divert your focus to your hips for a second, let them sit, and then fast into this.
You know what's the one crux? So I feel like the hold's bad immediately.
Yeah, the hold is bad.
But I get what you mean, yeah.
They're small, they're small. Come on, Albert. Let's go, dude. Nice, Albert. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty scary.
It goes. Okay, I get it. Nice. I started, it was like, okay, I'm gonna fall.
Like, okay, this is bad, it's peak bad.
Peak bad.
And then that's when you're like at the right position.
That actually made a difference. I literally haven't stuck that move.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go.
Sick.
To recap, Ray taught me that it's important to use flags to move our hips into a position that is at the end of the next difficult move. By planning ahead of our movements, we can make sequential moves easier. Thinking of climbing more three-dimensional with the XYZ axis allows us to add depth to our movements and let us think about how we can get our hips closer to the wall and move in relation to the wall and holds. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Ray Hansen for being a part of this video, as he helped me learn a lot about flags and back flags. The rest of the session we filmed was a masterclass in its own right, with plenty of information and some good fun that we had while climbing on the walls. I will be releasing that uncut video as well as the other uncut footage from the other sessions of each episode throughout the days to follow, so make sure you are subscribed, and that way you will not miss those videos when they come out. I want to thank again everyone for watching, and remember to keep crushing it and keep spirit.